Man, it feels good to be living eternally. I'm forgiven without a care in the world. Just catch me coasting and dipping, catch me moving around. I love exploring this world, in and out of my town.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Dat Post-Mill Podcast, where we try to make Luke the Bear enjoy the girl jealous by interviewing only half of the Apologia Empire. Jeff, the so-called ninja last week, and Marcus, the pit bull Pittman this week.
Are we in Empire?
You're gonna be.
We're just like being Dat Post-Mill and calling it right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're still in season 1 of Breaking Bad over here, so we still got a ways to go.
It's gonna get good. You're in the Empire business.
We are in the Empire business. Every Christian is.
That's right.
Yeah.
Except for premillennial Christians, they're kind of in the going out of business.
Liquidation.
Yeah. So are we saying that we have the blue meth then? Is that what Post-Mill is?
Yes. Yes, that's exactly what I said.
Yes. Dat Post-Mill is... I'm typing it right now. Dat Post-Mill is the blue meth.
They're, like, discernment bloggers are going to take that out of context, and they're going to start making the case that I think all Christians should smoke meth.
Marcus, they think that already about you, bro. You might as well just embrace it.
You have to be careful with your words.
Marcus, when are you going to start being careful with your words then?
I'm not.
I usually go with what's the most radical thing I could say to make this point.
Well, just to be fair, I used to be really abrasive on Facebook and stuff, and now I'm not. And I used to be like really aggressive, angry, hostile discernment blogger type. That used to be me. And I just realized that I am as bad as the people I'm rebuking, ultimately, in a sense. And so, not that there isn't a need for rebuke. There is. But I just realized that we don't have to do it all the time in such a hostile tone, and we can show grace. Because some people are wrong, and other people are heretics, and sometimes it's hard to confuse those two. And some people are wrong for a certain amount of time. So we have to be kind of cautious, and taking a quote here and there from something someone said at a certain place at a certain time and making a whole basis of whether or not they're saved because they said something stupid, not always the best way to go about generating blog traffic and building your ministry.
And it's probably unbiblical too.
I should say it is a good way to generate blog traffic, but it's not a good way to build a ministry.
Right, there you go.
That's true.
So
being
it's a
an
really
admin
good way to
in
generate
a pub
blog
has been good for me because I want to make sure I don't get kicked out of the pub that I'm kicking other people out of. So I tone back quite a bit.
Yeah, I was banned from the pub a long time ago. So
Yeah.
Next topic.
I'm with you, Marcus. I got kicked out. It's cool.
Calling the Wookiee, what is it? Wookiee maker?
Yeah, we are here with Marcus Pittman from Apologia Radio. Marcus Pittman has joined the, what are we calling it? The Apologia Empire. And we're looking into the future because we believe that's just the way it's going, because we know that we support it, and we just love what you guys do, man. We had Jeff on last week. We have you on. We made a joke earlier, but man, we would love to have the girl and the bear on as well. That'd be awesome. So we're also, my name is John Howell. We also have Adam Moore.
Hello, everybody. I'm from New Jersey.
That's a voice for radio right there, right?
It is.
We also have Colin Pearson.
What's up, guys? I'm in SoCal.
Yeah, and that's a good voice right there as well. And then we have Dustin Ronman, right? Is that Ronman? Rainman? Ronman? Ramen noodles? What is that? Like, how do you say your name?
Rainham.
I'll take whatever you got. I like ramen. Then I can claim I'm part of the ramen empire. Why not? I'm up in Minnesota.
Minnesota? Is it snowing already, dude?
No, it's not. But last year, at this time, early May, it snowed last year. So, yeah.
That's what time hop's good for.
Yeah, exactly. It did get down to like 30 or something like that today. So, last night.
No.
What? Are you serious?
Oh, yeah. It's 45 right now. Yeah.
My AC is not keeping up.
I turned on the air conditioner.
It was 90 degrees today. And it's not even summer yet.
So our listeners are not aware of this because I've edited it out of every podcast, but John Howell has wanted to discuss Batman versus Superman for like 5 episodes, and we're finally going to do it with somebody who has the creds to actually carry this discussion. So, Marcus, we believe in you.
I'm a Marvel fan, so I don't really care.
That's
John's heart is crushed.
No,
So next subject, please.
Next question.
Well, never mind, John. We're throwing out segment 1. Sorry.
Maybe next week.
No, but John, what was your question about Batman versus Superman? Was it who would win in a fight, or I don't remember.
Well, no, this whole idea that Batman's even a challenge for Superman, I think it's ridiculous.
Well, if you're, and I think I told you this, but if you're aware of the actual story of Batman versus Superman, which I'm only minutely aware because, like Marcus, I prefer Marvel, but Batman actually knew on the Justice League. Batman had the weaknesses of every other Justice League member, like, on his person at all times, and so he always carried kryptonite with him.
Right.
So that if Superman ever decided to just, like, go crazy and murder the entire planet, like, he would be able to stop him.
Right.
How much kryptonite are we talking here?
Yeah.
How much kryptonite? Enough to keep him from killing him, I guess? I don't really know.
Okay, I've said this on the Apologia podcast before, but Superman is a vigilante who is not under the rule or authority of any other government official, and he takes justice into his own hands, whereas Batman is at least commissioned by the commissioner and therefore an agent of the state, and therefore is justified, and therefore Superman is evil and should be punished according to law.
Well, I think, John, was your question which one is better, which one's more moral, which one's just, or who would win in a fight?
Well, I think all of that. I'm just saying, I think, though, that when you look at Superman and his abilities...
I think Batman would win in a fight because he always carries kryptonite and because he's smart.
Doesn't matter if he has kryptonite. He could fly at him at 100 miles an hour, stop 100 miles away, and throw a train at him and kill him.
Not if he had kryptonite on his person.
Well, how close does he have to be for it to affect him? He can be 100 miles away and still throw something at him that would kill him.
Hey, what's up, IV, man? I'm glad you're here, man. Hey, I don't know, man. I just thought that since you were in the studio and stuff that you could come by. What's up, guys? I got my friend IV here. Y'all hear that?
IV Connerly? No way.
Yeah, man.
This is a surprise.
Yes.
Brother
Shalom.
IV.
What's up, brother?
Shalom, guys.
Welcome to that post
What's
mill,
up?
bro.
Howdy, welcome.
Yeah. I just bogarted my way on the post mill.
Hey, that's good.
That's what IV does. He's
That's
a
taking
criminal.
the minion right there, man.
Yeah, that's right. If it's post mill, things got to get better. So, I just got to go ahead and get better at these bogarts. at bogarts.
IV is actually visiting me. He's working in the studio. We're soundproofing some of the rooms and stuff in the Apologia Studios.
That's
It looks
awesome.
really awesome and amazing. And so I'm pretty excited.
That's awesome, man. The Empire, Topologia Empire, got to change the name.
Mm-hmm.
It is apologiaempire.com.
A&E.
Dang. Now I got to buy it.
Copyright.
I'll buy it right now real quick. Hang on.
So, what were we talking about again? I
Batman
forgot.
versus Superman.
Batman versus Superman.
We can move on from that.
Okay.
I had this grand vision,
All right.
and it's just,
I mean,
it's okay.
I want to chime in a little bit.
Go ahead,
definitely.
chime in, man. Tell them about Batman.
I think Superman, when it comes to a fight, Superman is, he smashed Batman any given Sunday.
Yep. See?
I mean, he's got superpowers from another planet. You know what I mean? So since he's this guy who could stop trains, trucks with just his fists. I mean, come on now. And then Batman, what does he got? Gadgets and gadgets. That's all.
You guys are going to go against Ivy. Come on now, see?
Colin is standing next to that kryptonite point, though.
I saw a meme floating around on Facebook, and it was a little cartoon drawing of Batman and Superman, and Superman says to Batman, "Your worst enemy is a clown," and he said, "Your worst enemy is a rock."
Okay, but seriously, if Superman's up in space and he drops just an asteroid, and it would just crush Batman.
Where do most fights really start? Face to face. And if
Doesn't
they're already
matter.
face to face, he's at a disadvantage.
Yeah, but we never started with the. You're presupposing that they're starting face to face. Come on now.
Well, does Superman just decide to mutilate Batman from 5,000 miles away? He's like, you know what? Today I'm taking out Bruce. He's just like, oh, spoiler alert for anybody who doesn't know.
What?
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Batman is Bruce Jenner?
Wrong universe.
Is Batgirl.
Wrong universe.
That girl.
Oh man.
So bringing this all back to Post Mill for a sec. So if things are really getting better and better to the point where we beat our swords into plowshares, eventually Batman and Superman are irrelevant, right?
It's true.
Eventually they can just quit being vigilantes.
Tell that to Superman. He can't quit his powers, you know? Batman can put away his gadgets, but Superman can't quit being Superman.
Where does Theonomy Thawne fit into this?
Theonomy Thawne. I was on Calvinist Batman's show, and afterwards I was like, so am I supposed to like be a supervillain now because I'm a theonomist? And he's like, I'll think about it. And he's like, okay, I figured it out. You should be Theonomy Thawne. And I'm like, sweet. I don't even know who Thawne is. And I looked it up, and it's Professor Zoom, which is the reverse Flash. So it's like the Flash, but the bad guy version.
Nice.
And so that's my handle on Twitter if nobody figured that out. But, oops, spoiler alert again.
Theonomy Thawne is with us on that Post Mill.
Like I said, I'm not really that into DC, so.
Well, anyway, I'm satisfied. I've been wanting to discuss it because I don't, I know Batman has beef with Superman. The new movie's coming out. I think Ben Affleck will do better than I thought he would, based on the trailer, but I'm still skeptical, so.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you dap Post Mill? You will.
You will. That meme's funny.
Who is the most theonomic superhero character?
Ooh.
If you had to pick.
Captain America's close because he's a Christian.
And he's all about that Constitution. He's a libertarian.
A little idolatrous with all the American flag stuff, man.
Right, but was it with the second Captain America movie? It was basically Captain America versus the tyrannical U.S. government, essentially.
Oh, Winter Soldier?
Yeah, am I getting that sort of like...
That's very true.
So in that sense, like maybe he is kind of the theonomic one. Maybe I should change my Twitter handle to Theonomic Captain. That's not going to fit.
Captain America? Come on, man.
It's just a long tag.
So do we ask Ivy right now if we can have permission to use some of his music for our...
The man's here. We would like to maybe put you on that post, man. Maybe put you in some in the intro music and maybe some segments, and then we would have links to your music, but not just a shout out on the show, but also on the website and all that, man. We'd be honored if we could do that.
You guys have full permission, excuse me, to use whatever song you guys see fit for the podcast. I'll be grateful.
But if there's a particular song that you think would just like fit really well, or
what about We Rain?
Can you please just write a new one for us with all of our names interwoven, like a verse for each person?
He'll do anything if the price is right.
Yeah.
I don't approve because all of our names are just not rap worthy. Sorry, bro.
I mean, I could make all your names. I still could make all your names rhyme, though.
I hate to do this. But I am a hip hop artist.
Oh, that's what's up.
I just need to take the time to I feel neglected right now, Colin.
What we could do right now is I can beatbox for a little bit, and Ivy can just lay down some freestyle or whatever he wants.
Wait a minute, wait. You guys have a hip-hop artist that is regularly occurring on your show, and his music is not on the beginning of the show?
The issue with me, Orthodox as a solo artist, my project is currently in the works. I'm recording right now, so I don't have anything I'm going to put on the show yet. As Reform Ordinance, we do have tracks, but that's Ricky Roldan who has all that. Which, by the way, we should have him on the show too to talk about that Amil. But and then the tracks I've done with Christ-Centric has that. You know what I'm saying? So I actually don't have anything that I've collabed with or in the group stuff. I just don't have it.
Did you click up with Christ-Centric?
Yeah.
What's the name of the new album?
The new Christ-Centric album?
No, the album that you're currently working on.
No. Oh, the album I'm working on, the album I did was on for them. Because I'm not doing anything with Christ-Centric right now. I was on the song Already Not Yet with Christ-Centric.
Okay.
My project is just me. Yeah, Christ-Centric isn't involved yet. I don't have them collab on anything yet. I do have Rodan and Optimus, and I have some local artists around here. I have Sly Pittman, who has agreed to do something as soon as I figure out where to put him.
No relation.
No relation. No. You guys look very similar.
Marcus, that's not your hip hop name.
So what's the album about? Like, when are you guys releasing it and all that good stuff? Like, what's the title?
Well, it's just me. Like, this is just a solo me. I've never done a solo project. So this project is going to be called Orthodoxy, which I was just on the... but it's not about me. It's going to... The whole song is basically getting to a point about God's law, Christ's reign, his empire, in the culture, all that stuff. So,
and each one of us get to be a special guest. We get to rap one verse on each different tracks, right?
I would love to have Dustin on there. That'd be hilarious.
Let's do it.
So, John, do you rap?
Yeah, bro. 20 years. Yep.
I didn't even know that. You didn't tell me.
Me and you got that in common, man. I've been rapping for 20 years as well.
Yeah, man. I love your stuff, bro.
No way.
Hey, I've been listening to rap for 25 years, so.
Okay, so then I have a question. If you guys both rap, are you down for a rap battle right now? Because I will beatbox for both of you.
Let's do it.
I don't battle, but I'll session.
This is going to sound weird to everybody except for whoever's actually rapping.
Apology has $1 million studios or something they can do to put a beat on.
Oh, well, is it $1 million studio? Let me tell you how badly I wish that we had $1 million studio. I can
that would be
promise
awesome.
you, of all the things I can promise you with full assurance and prophetic vision, is that this is not $1 million studio yet.
Yeah.
Yet.
It's starting to look like it.
Yeah, there you
It does look like $1 million studio. That is for sure. It really will once the sawdust is up.
All right, so I will beatbox, and whoever wants to rap, just go for it. If I just end up beatboxing and nobody raps, I'm going to feel really awkward.
I didn't know you could beatbox. Beatbox.
Yeah, dude. I just have so many friends that rap, but I don't do it, so I had to figure out something to do to feel cool hanging out with them.
All right, yeah, that'd be fun, man. I'm down.
All right, you guys ready? All right, here we go.
I think Marcus gonna get this one for me. Go ahead, Marcus.
Oh, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not. All right, Ivy Connolly on the mic.
Yeah, Ron. Go ahead.
Ivy Connolly on the mic. About to something on a trike. I don't know.
I don't freestyle. It's kind of wild. Whatever she said was a child. Kind of knew how. Nah, just messing. Man, I really don't freestyle though. But I got some new stuff from the new album.
You're really, really making me look bad right now.
I'm just trying to make
Like
John's
all the
turn.
times. Listen, I'm talking on the mic. Hold on, man. I'm talking on the mic right now, Ivy Connolly. Hey, man, I'm talking on the mic. I'm talking on the mic, Ivy.
Put it down, brother.
All right, listen. All the times I talk about how good Christians need to be when it comes to media, that's what you spit out? Man, get off the show, man. Get off the show with that trash, man.
Ivy's albums and Ivy's art is way beyond me. But freestyle is how I started. Freestyle still is my most natural medium. It takes me hours to write a 16. So let's I'll freestyle.
All
Let's
right,
do it.
John, show Ivy up.
We're going to wrap up this segment with you rapping while I beatbox, okay, John?
Now, some people wonder if these hosts are real, but we're just broadcasting, not that mass appeal. That post-mill is coming underneath the grasses, astonishing the masses. Theological classes we take you to, all the task and bask in sun's rays. Never stop until the day that I'm raising from the grave. Resurrection is more than just a hope, it's a confidence I have, so the scriptures when I quote. The spirit spits through the scriptures, it's the final authority. Understand, but my spinal never minority. I stand upon the solid rock of the ages in demonstration through the time like a tiger run out of cages. I feel angry devouring all the faces and all the culture's fake and they want to get the facelift. But really we need the circumcision deep within and the spirit and never do away my sin. And theonomic, it's more than just the law, it's the spirit taken into the heart for all of y'all. Wash you with the baptism, never stopping the dropping the topics in the Florida weather of the tropics. Most MCs are small like microscopic. They teach the gospel of Thomas, they really need to stop it. That's when I exposit the synoptic gospels and never stop it when he pierces through my optic. God sees all things, he sees all visions. Never will I stop till the fulfilled the great commission. Satan's bound, never coming to heaven and understand, cause we see the yeast and never leaven. He chose more than 12, it's perfect like 7. Never will I stop until the day that I'm leaving. Even if I'm leaving and cleaving, just like Stephen when I'm martyred till the day, but I'm torn and I'm wheezing. And my flesh is torn and I'm bleeding, but I'm proceeding. And I walk across the water like the Jordan when they're receding. And I am needed only one confession, like the Creed and Nicaeans, check out all the lessons.
That was awesome.
Let's get out of my face,
Thanks,
Ivy.
man.
We will be right back with you guys on Dat Post Mail. Stay tuned.
Being my life directed by him. No, this isn't a movie. Bet they still wanna shoot me. I'm a dead man living, pardon my laughter to Uzis. Tell me what can they do to me? Already a done deal. Already been sealed.
Welcome back to Dat Post Mill. We've been having a lot of fun in that first segment. We got Ivy Connolly that bombarded the Post Mill podcast, and we are honored to have him. We, of course, have Marcus Pittman, also with Apologia Radio in-house, and we have that Post Mill crew. And we want to just kind of, on the Batman, Superman tip, get into a more serious little discussion. Marcus, this is for you. You wrote an article about the Super Bowl commercials around the time of the Super Bowl, of course. And you pointed out something about the theme of the commercials in your understanding. Could you maybe kind of...
It was fatherhood.
Yeah, and what about fatherhood? What was so significant about that theme in these commercials that you concluded in your article?
Well, I think when you look at the Super Bowl commercials of the past year, it was all about the ones that stood out the most were the ones that dealt with like a true meaning of family. So there were the car commercials. There was the commercial where the dad was taking her daughter to get on the airplane to, well, besides the fact she was being in the military, that's a whole another subject. But essentially it was about fathers. And I think that marketing is to place in people a desire to buy something so that whatever they want, that commercial or that advertisement makes them feel that if they have that product, they will get that. So but everybody in the country has, drunken parties with Budweiser and everybody has that. That's easy access. Not everybody has a daddy, right? Especially in this country. Not everybody has a father. Not everybody has a family. And so if I get a new Ford, if I get a new Chevy, it will be like having a family that I never had. Like, that's good advertising. That's good marketing. And we see that everywhere. Like now, I think that's one of the good things about our society falling as deep as it's falling, because it only can fall so far before people realize, even unknowingly, that they're created in the image of God, and they're going to desire that to be like that image more, even if they don't really realize the source. So when you see commercials and advertising and movies and television, and they're all focused on a solid family, that's a big deal. I mean, we see it with Pixar, like The Incredibles was a great film, and it had an intact family that loved each other. And I think we're going to see that with the new film that's coming out in June, Inside Out. We see like an intact family there, the husband and the wife and the daughter sitting at the table. There's a value to that that relates to people, and it's like an instant emotional connection, because there's a genuineness to having an intact family. And I don't remember what it was, but there was some TV show where there was an intact family, and the TV show is based upon an intact family, and the network responded and said, we do not want a show with an intact family, because that's not what we want. The homosexual, we want this or we want that, we want a divorced family. That's how you create drama, divorce and homosexuality and adultery and affairs, like that's drama. And the director of the show was like, no, let's have this story be about an intact family. And it became a huge success. I forget what
Seventh
show it was,
Heaven,
but it was a show with an intact family. And
yeah.
No. It's recent. It's I think it's still on the air. So, but I remember hearing that. And I was like, well, yeah, because people relate to intact families because either they have one or they don't, and they want one. So it's a very easy thing.
They understand normalcy and what they want.
Yeah, and like you were talking earlier about superheroes, and I think we can go back to all the the Marvel stuff that they're making billions and billions of dollars, and it's because people want to see good win, right? They want to see victory over evil. They want to see an advancement of good and morality and those values. And that's why superhero movies are so insanely profitable. They're not just a little bit profitable. They're insanely profitable films. And that's because you cannot see movies and stories that have a good outcome a lot of the time. Like some of the top movies last year that won the awards anyway were movies that were really dark, like Birdman and what was the other one I saw? Nightcrawler was crazy dark, and those were some of the best movies of the year. But the most profitable ones were, of course, the superhero movies, the family movies, those that relate on that level to wanting to see evil destroyed. And when we see on Fox News, it's just this progression of everything is terrible, everything is awful, everything's getting worse, and it's like being in a desert and finding an oasis, a superhero movie in comparison, because it's like good win. Good wins, like that's what people see, and they can cheer for that, and they can take their kids to see that evil is destroyed. And like everybody in their heart of hearts is a post-millennialist, even dispensationalists at the end of time believe that we win and evil is abolished. But at least we can say, no, that happens now, and it's happening now. And so like we see that in the movies, and people can relate to that, and like that's what's happening. So that's why, selling fatherhood, selling parenthood, selling good, beating evil is a very profitable thing to do right now. And I will add, Christians should kind of figure that out. Like we should figure that out, and we should be the best at it, because we understand stories of redemption, stories of victory, stories of destroying evil better than anybody else in the world. And yet it's the pagans, it's the unbelievers, the director of the Avengers 2. And he was talking about, I read a quote, he was talking about Captain America's line where he was saying that there's only one God, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't wear clothes like that or something like that. And he gets hassled by atheists because he's like, why would you put that in there if you're an atheist? Why would you put that in there? And he was like, because that's who Captain America is, right? So, even the unbelievers are not able to twist stories in a way that skirt the heart of the matter and the issue. And so I'm glad that God has allowed pagans to create Marvel stories, because I think they're entirely consistent with a Christian worldview. I think they're great stories to take your kids to see, and they're going to be around for a long, long time, and Christians better wise up to that fact, or they're going to be broke and penniless and making God's Not Dead movies.
Yeah.
Josh Whedon, by the way, is director of Age of Ultron.
Yeah, Joss Whedon.
Yeah, he's adamant atheist, and he was the one that, he said that he got hassled because he put the, and I think too, even in the new one, in the Age of Ultron's 2, you had Ultron, who was quoting all these biblical references and lines.
I was getting
as an enemy, as an antichrist, and it's like, I remember like people were talking on my Facebook about how blasphemous the movie was, and I'm like, no, he's an antichrist figure. Of course he's going to use Christian language to try and
twist it.
perpetuate his false ideology, and he was destroyed at the end. So it's like, no, like if I was going to make a Christian movie, Avengers Age of Ultron that's how I would do it.
Yeah, and ultimately, the interesting thing about Ultron, for anyone who's familiar with the story, is he was essentially created out of Tony Stark's insecurity and fear. And so here's this monster that comes out of his failure to hope in something greater than himself, essentially.
Right.
Him trying to figure out how to do everything all by himself, and it eventually erupted into, a massive monster trying to destroy mankind. Biblical themes all over the place.
Yeah, this all reminds me of that quote that's always attributed to Doug Wilson, but I think it was actually Joe Rigney, where he says, all of Scripture can be summed up in get the dragon, save the girl. So it's
kill the dragon, save the girl.
Yeah, so it's
just
it's in it's even in the pagans. They know what by nature what our inclinations are. We want to see that. We have that hope within us that they just deny.
By the way, that movie's going to be great.
It's going to be a good movie too.
It's going to be a great movie. I think everybody's going to be shocked.
Yeah, Ivy worked on that movie with Kirk Cameron. This winter you did?
Yeah.
Which one?
Yeah, this winter. It's called Kill the Dragon, Save the Girl.
Ooh, I haven't even heard of it.
Me neither.
Can you tell us anything about it?
There's not a lot, but if you follow certain people on Facebook, you can see.
So here's the obvious question. Well, maybe it's not so obvious, but here is an obvious question on why is it that Christians are making such bad stuff? Is it a lack of faith? Is it some kind of judgment from God for not really truly believing that we are doing God's work, and therefore everything that we're putting out is awful?
Let me answer this question. No. I'm going to answer this question. No, man, let me answer the question, Ivy. Man, what's wrong? I let you be a guest on this is my show. I was invited on this show, and now you're just going to just take over. Go ahead. But I ain't talking to you for the rest of the night.
It's all good. See, he's lucky I didn't take his seat, because I really was going to do that. Just push him out the way. But anyway.
Speak.
The reason is slothfulness, honestly, in most cases. I mean, a lot of Christians, the way that we think, or the way that most think, is that as long as they have Christ in, in like the right content in their films and in their movies, etc., whatever it comes, down to it, as far as the arts, that as long as they quote scripture, as long as they say Jesus Christ and whatnot, that Christians are going to buy it, and that's who they're really catering it or catering to, and that's their target audience, without really having the right worldview. Like, wait a minute. You know what I'm saying? We're Christians, so we have a great God, we have a great Savior, He's wonderful, He's glorious, He's beautiful, He's magnificent, etc., etc. We need to represent Him in such a way that, yes, if He's giving me this gift, we can't lie about it, and we're going to make sure that it is great to His glory. And that takes a lot of hard work. Now, the pagan understands this because they're saying, hey, look, we got families, we got bills to pay, and we're in competition with other people and whatnot, and it's their idol. So that's why their stuff looks and sounds a lot better than most Christians, in my humble opinion.
That was a terrible answer. I was not going to say that at all.
It doesn't matter.
What I was going to say, because I was asked the question.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Okay. So,
what don't you understand?
Are you gonna let me answer the question?
Go ahead.
Okay. All right. I think a reason that the Christians make such bad movies is primarily because of eschatology. They don't believe that they can make movies that'll be successful, and you can actually see this. This isn't a lie. Like, I'm not making this up. If you follow the Left Behind Facebook page, and which is really Left Behind is the worst series of movies ever made. Ever.
10 books.
Like, they're awful.
Worst book series.
And I'm not even talking about, like, no, see, I would even say, like, that the stories itself are okay. I listened to the radio drama for the Left Behind series when I was in college, and it was amazing. It was really good. So I think you can say that the stories themselves have value, but they're just terrible films. They just don't. The guys who make them are awful. They don't care, and they always talk about the reason this movie failed is because the world hates godly movies. No, they don't. They hate your movies because they're bad. And so if your eschatology is people are just going to hate us. They're going to hate our films. They're going to hate our media. They're going to hate everything that we do. Therefore, we're not going to make a lot of money. Therefore, we need money to make good films, which is not true. So if that's your view, you're going to always make bad movies. So bringing that back to what we're doing at Apologia, me and Jeff had a discussion before I came down here about media and film at the conference, and like we share a very similar view, and that's that we can make good things really cheaply. And like if you notice, like a lot of the people that are making a lot of money on YouTube, that are building empires on YouTube, they don't have $1 million budgets.
Right.
They don't have elaborate, expensive gear and equipment. They don't have that stuff. They just have their own little iPhone camera, and they're making millions of dollars from advertising because they're good. They're
they know
funny.
How to tell a
they
story.
have talent.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And the guys that left behind, those guys do not know how to tell a story. They don't care if they tell a good story. They're out to get
Christian dollars.
Well, yeah. So their main source is essentially give us money so we can make movies that you like, as opposed to we're gonna make good stuff. Support us because we're making good stuff. Look, I'll just be really honest. If Apologia makes garbage, don't support Apologia. Like, I don't think Jeff will mind me saying that. If we are making junk, don't support us, because that will motivate us to make better stuff. Right? Like that, capitalism is a great motivation. Right? Like that's a great motivation. Hey, I'm hungry. Why am I hungry? Oh, because I'm not working hard enough. I'm not talented enough. I'm not skilled enough. Like that's what we plan on doing. We plan on making great content here. We plan on feeding the Christian body with great content and smart content and satire. And if you guys could see the chalkboard wall that we have, that's just filled with ideas. And Tuesday, we're having our first writing session where we're writing sketches. And like, I'm going this weekend or next weekend, I'm going to start regularly going to improv comedy places around Phoenix just to soak in like sketch comedy. We're doing it here. Like, this is a YouTube studio. This is going to be a massive thing, and like that's our goal. And if we're bad at it, we don't want your support. We want to make stuff that people like. We want to make stuff that we like, and hopefully we'll build an audience based around that. Not, hey guys, we are your only hope to see a good Christian film, because the world hates Christian films. And if you give us $1 million, we'll make a really terrible Christian film, but you'll feel good about it because you supported a great Christian. Oh, man, you've got to be kidding me. So instead of making films that are, appeal to the feel good, I feel good because I'm supporting a Christian film. Why don't you just support films and media and content that's actually really good? And I think when that happens, you'll see a change. I mean, capitalism is the driving factor. Like, people don't go and see Marvel movies that are garbage, right? If there's a bad superhero movie or any bad movie, they just don't watch it. And then what happens? It flops in the box office. It doesn't make money. And if that happens a lot, M. Night Shyamalan, like, people don't want to support him. Like, people don't, like, when you make a certain amount of bad movies, people don't want to support you and fund you. There's a reason why on M. Night's last film, which was with Will Smith and his son, there's a reason why in none of the advertising and none of the promotions there was no mention of M. Night Shyamalan at all as the director. It's because if people know that, they've given up hope that M. Night will do a Sixth Sense again. And that's because he's failed and failed and failed and failed, and that's just how capitalism works. You go out of business, and that's okay. It's a good thing for someone to go out of business. And
man, I was in an M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Were you really? Which one?
The Happening. You could see my forehead. I was an extra. I'm just kidding.
Were you really?
Yeah, it really was.
You really were an extra in The Happening?
Yeah, but you could only see like my forehead.
That's
Nice.
your forehead,
But
bro?
I got to meet.
Oh man, that's a great forehead, dude.
Yeah, that's what you can.
familiar.
You can see.
I thought it
So,
looked
so when
familiar.
anybody asks, why are there no Christians in Hollywood? We can say, no, of course there was. Adam Moore
Yeah.
was in The Happening.
And I was in
Saw
another
him.
Mark Wahlberg movie, Invincible. You could see me in the background. Me and Mark Wahlberg were the only two people on the screen at the time.
Was that M. Night, you mean? Invincible? No, that's
That was
Unbreakable.
Invincible.
Okay.
No. Invincible was Mark. Both of them were Mark Wahlberg movies.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm famous.
Pretty much.
Well,
Look at that.
I worked for America's Got Talent.
Did you? What'd you do
Who
there?
cares? But, I was a production assistant.
Oh, sorry, I'm not really into Pokemon, so I don't know what that is. No, those shows always make a lot of money, but I hate them.
I just heard American Idol's done this fall. It's the 15th season or something
Praise
like
the Lord.
that.
Praise the Lord. I mean,
Can only milk
that
it
show's
so
been
far.
in a coma for a long time. You just gotta pull the plug sometime.
Yeah.
You just gotta let it die.
You were mentioning that M. Night Shyamalan wasn't. I didn't even realize he wasn't the producer or the director of that movie. But in the previous 5 movies that he did after Unbreakable and The Sixth Sense, that was like the tagline for all of his movies. Like, oh, M. Night Shyamalan is the one who directed this movie, and that was the draw, not the actors per se. And he continually kind of got worse and worse. And he had I really liked The Sixth Sense. I mean, when it came out, and Unbreakable was pretty decent, but everything else since then has been bad.
Science is pretty good.
Science had Mel Gibson in it, and as a Christian, you have to support it. You have to like it, even if it's really stupid
Christian.
that aliens are, allergic to water. You still have to like it because you're a Christian and Mel Gibson's in it.
Right.
Who's Mel Gibson again? Just kidding.
I think he's like
He's Catholic, isn't he?
he's like an
Oh, yeah, he's Catholic.
yeah, he's a little bit. He's been in some trouble too, man, with some things. But
So he made an entire movie that was like 100% Second Commandment violation.
Oh, yeah. Those Catholics.
Yeah.
Wake, break, read, dress, work, think, gospel. Rest, fellowship, yes, church, hear, see, gospel. Everything, gospel. Everywhere, gospel. Walk, talk, eat, drink, sleep, dream.
Are there other Presbyterians on this show, by
I'm
the
a
way?
Presbyterian.
Hey!
Recently converted. Yeah,
Hey, brother.
look at that.
I'm so happy to be talking to other Presbyterians.
Oh, yeah.
That's
How-
awesome. That's
Yeah, how are you surviving
Yeah,
there, man?
I
converting
don't
me.
know, man. I don't
Marcus,
know.
we need to
I
switch
just,
places.
one day at a time. One day at a time. Are you a Baptist at a Presbyterian church? Is that what you're a Baptist at a Presbyterian church? And I'm a Presbyterian at a Baptist church?
Worse. I have been a Baptist at a Presbyterian church
He's a
before.
Baptist at a Baptist church.
No, I'm a Baptist at.
Oh, now you're a
yeah,
Presbyterian.
at a Baptist church. I think that's worse than being
Wait,
a Baptist at a
you
Presbyterian church.
unreformed to Baptist?
Well,
You unreformed to being a Baptist?
I was never Presbyterian.
You were Presbyterian, and then you.
I worked
Just
for a
the church.
Presbyterian. I worked for a PCUSA church. I don't think it counts. So I don't think I.
Yeah.
No.
By the way, a lot of people have questioned why I would come to work at a Baptist church, and that's because those differences are minor, and we're still building the kingdom together.
Mhm.
I think it's a great example to Jeff and Luke that they know I'm a Presbyterian, but they would still let me come and minister alongside of them, and it wouldn't be this divisive, major issue. And I think they should get a lot of respect and credit for that. And we joke about being Presbyterians and Baptists and stuff all the time. It's okay. That's fun. Yeah, I'm very, very thankful for Jeff for just his biblical ecumenicism in that he would allow that to take place. I think it's amazing. And he could be angry discernment blogger, but he's not. He's very gracious and whatnot. So
Are you allowed to be a member of the church?
yeah, well, even in the PCA, you can be a Baptist and become a member.
Yeah.
I
just can't be an
didn't think
elder.
it was flip-flop.
you can't be an elder if you hold a Baptist doctrine, and I would never want to be an elder of Jeff's church for those reasons, of course. But we can still work together and build the kingdom together and
Yeah.
and grow and do all those.
Yeah, you know what? I know this sounds confusing, but I go to a church in Temecula, California, and it's called Covenant Grace. And some of the elders are Baptist, some of the elders are Presbyterian. And, you know, it's great because, I mean, they still minister and whatnot. And some bring their babies to get baptized or sprinkled or just water poured down on their heads. And then, you know, some just convicted to just only baptize adults that make the profession, of course.
Man, that's crazy, man. Stop talking, Ivy. Just stop talking. Stop talking, man. Stop spreading that. Man, stop, man. That's some. No, man.
This is good.
That's a church that don't have conviction. That's what that is.
Well,
what kind of crazy? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
what in the world, man?
Those are not essentials. I mean, they have. I mean, every elder. You know, they stick by their convictions, and it's just a group of men that's like, hey, you know, we're not going to stop you from baptizing babies.
Well, like in the CREC church, you can be a Presbyterian church or a Baptist church as long as you hold to a Reformed creed. Yeah. And then that way you still get your Presbyterian security in terms of the government, which I think is amazing.
I agree with the government. I don't really think there's any other biblical option for church government than Presbyterian system.
So Marcus, I was listening to the latest episode of Apologia, and as soon as after I heard it, I said we are going to put on our website, on our Dat Postman website, what church we're a member of, so that if anybody has a problem with anything we say on the air, they can go directly to our elders.
So wait a minute. Let me ask you a question, okay, Adam? If I were to go to your elders because I had a problem with the way you were acting online, if you were acting, say, like in like a child, and I were to go to your elders, you wouldn't be mad?
That depends, but
I mean, you would let me do that, and you wouldn't think that like that's a problem?
No, because that's what the biblical model is.
If
you have a problem with
right?
somebody,
right?
Yeah, that's what they're there for,
right?
And
awesome.
And I started thinking about like the fact that my pastor knows he's not post-mill. He's optimistic-ish Amel. And he's very he's very kingdom focused, kingdom minded, and he's very he has a high regard for God's law, but he's not theonomic. But and he also knows I have a gun podcast. He's not a real big gun person either. But I want him to know what I'm doing because indirectly I am representing the local expression where I live.
Absolutely.
And so that we need to be held accountable by our elders. And I think that the whole elder thing that we were kind of just talking about is huge. And that's why I'm thankful for the Presbyterian polity, because it really holds them in high regard.
Yeah, and if you think about it this way, like, I wouldn't go to a church unless I trusted the pastors and elders to, A, have my back when somebody's just trying to ruin my reputation, and B, call me out for being an idiot. Right? Like, I don't want to be a part of a church if the elders aren't going to do their job. Like, that's why I go to the same church on a weekly basis, because I want to have that accountability, you know? I want somebody to be able to say, like, hey, Colin, what are you doing? You're an idiot.
Are you saying that you don't church hop? Like, you don't go.
I don't do
like
that.
Morning service at one church, evening service at another on every third and first week, and then fifth Sundays you go to every fifth Sunday you go to the charismatic church just to get a little Holy Ghost. So like you don't like you're actually a faithful, loyal member of one single church.
Right? Yeah, it's kind of like a big deal.
Mark, do you have anybody in mind there?
No, I actually don't. I just thought it'd be kind of funny.
Yeah, no, I know. Like, there are a couple churches that I've been to that are close by, and I have friends who go to churches that are close by, and on occasion I'll go and visit with them for various reasons, but it's just visiting, and I'm coming back to what is the place where I'm regular.
No, I was just going to say, it reminds me of something a while. I used to go to Piper's Church for several years, and
that's all the way in Minnesota.
You went to John Piper's church?
I did. Yeah, I went there for 6 years.
Did you shake his hand?
Several times, yes.
Wow.
I was on the worship team, so I got to be in the room downstairs behind praying before we went up. So yeah, it was awesome. Wow. He's a smart guy.
So you have like a special anointing.
Oh yeah. I sell holy water.
Like John Piper has laid hands on you.
Yes.
Like that's like You have like the Gospel Coalition anointing right now.
So you're
Like,
basically
you have
like Paul's Timothy.
you have
except-
their blessing.
Well, that's one of the things I was going to say earlier when you said that you were going to be a member of Apologia Church, because I don't know of a lot of Reformed Baptist churches that allow Presbyterians to be members. When I became a Presbyterian while I was there with my wife, and we actually had to leave because we couldn't be members because we had to affirm their confession.
Yeah, actually, some of my best friends actually helped start a church, a Baptist church, and when they were creating the bylaws for the Baptist church, they were very specific to write them out of membership. And went during the meeting. They were very clear that and they still go there. They actually still attend. They go every day. They tithe. They're allowed to take communion, but they're not allowed to be members, which is really weird. Because for me, I think to say that you cannot be a member of this church because of your view of baptism is really to say you are not part of the body.
Right.
Because of your view of baptism. Oh, I mean, it doesn't matter how you look at it. You can sit there and say, "Oh no, you're part of the body. You just got to go to another place." But it's like saying, it's like saying, "Oh yeah, you're a human. You just can't drink out of this water fountain."
Right, and it's funny too because everyone always said with Piper, if Jonathan Edwards walked into his church, or if R.C. Sproul walked into the church, he wouldn't let him be. They couldn't become members of the church.
Yeah. Well, that's what Jeff told me. Jeff was like, "There's no way I would deny membership to Greg Monson."
Yeah.
Like, there's like, how would I like? What you Greg can't? Monson. Yeah, it's Greg Monson. Like, we know he's a brother. Like, what he can't worship with me? No way.
Right.
But then by that logic, he would have to accept Andy Stanley, in the same type of. If you were to go Presbyterian and not Andy Stanley, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. I have a problem. I have a big problem with people accepting Baptists just because they're Baptists, but not Presbyterians, because you're gonna bring in like lots and lots of stuff that you don't.
But isn't Andy Stanley is part of the Southern Baptist Convention, right?
I guess he is.
So you have like a lot. Yeah, or Rick Warren is part of the Southern Baptist Convention. So like, I mean, that goes back to our discussion on like autonomous government, right? Like, the Southern Baptist Convention is not a presbytery. So they have no control over all the false teachers that are really within their own, denomination.
They don't have any in their denomination, do they?
Yeah, they do.
Perry Noble's pretty up and up, right?
Yeah, they have a lot. They have a lot of people in their denomination that I don't think would make it as an elder within a Presbyterian church, because just based on the way they preach is not expository.
Yeah.
Just based on that, you couldn't be an elder. And so, but I think too, like, if you were to just take a list of all the people who come up in discernment blogger blogs, like all those false teachers, the majority of them is all Baptist, right?
Yeah.
Like, so you don't get a lot of crazy radical Presbyterians. Like, we have strong disagreements with Tim Keller on some things. I do. But he's still restrained by that confession that he holds. The Westminster, he's still restrained by that. He can only go so far. And then and also, like, if he goes too far, he can be removed by people outside of his church. So there's that protection for his people there too, I think.
Right.
And so, like, I think that's why a lot of the false teachers are within autonomous Baptist churches. I think there's something to be said there. So,
listen to this though. Think about all the people that have study Bibles that are named after themselves. What type of doctrine are they all espousing? Every single one of them is dispensationalism. You start with Schofield, you go to John MacArthur.
So what you're saying is there will never be a Gary North study Bible?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man.
I had somebody point that out to me. Like, all the reformed post-mill type of people.
But to be honest, Adam, like, I don't have a problem with that, because if I'm writing a commentary on the Bible and, like, I'm putting my study notes in it, I want people to know, like, this is my commentary on the Bible.
I don't have a problem with commentaries, but it's like the Bible. But the thing is, like, the notes are interwoven into the text, and so it's almost as if, like, I'm like you're reading your Bible and me at the same time.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with a pastor branding himself.
What about Paul and Apollos?
No, I don't think so, because like Paul was very clear that he wrote the book of Romans.
Right.
Yeah,
like he
true.
signed his name, and like so like if a pastor builds a ministry, and I think that's okay. Like, I mean, it's just like, now if I say I follow MacArthur, like that's where it gets weird. Like that would be weird. I follow Jeff Durbin, like that's weird.
The reason I think it's helpful is that if it's called the John MacArthur Study Bible, I know what I'm going to get because I know John MacArthur. He's a famous individual. I'm aware of his positions on various things. So I know what to expect when I'm reading his commentary. Whereas if it was actually just John MacArthur writing all of the notes and it was called something completely obscure, I may not be aware immediately. I may have to go to the front and read the introduction to know that it's his stuff. It may not be immediately, clear what I should be expecting.
But the point is, it's almost like Presbyterian government, where there's a plurality of people who are putting in their input, and it's not just one guy's opinion. And like
the Reformation Study Bible.
The Reformation Study Bible has a general editor, and they have sub-editors of the Old and New Testaments, and then each.
Well, to be fair, the MacArthur
assigned.
Study Bible has, Phil Johnson as editor, and like there's other people that edit, MacArthur's Bible besides MacArthur. Like it's not just MacArthur.
I don't want to pick on him because Reformed people do that enough. But
God bless Johnny Mac. God bless him.
Hey, Johnny Mac was really influential in a lot of my theology. And very influential. Amen, right? Yeah, for real. Preach, brother. You want me to tithe right now? You want to tithe right now? Okay, here you go. Here you go, tithe. Oh, thank you, brother. That's a nice little donation right there, man. Thank you. No, he was, but a lot of his bad teachings also were very clear, and his bad teachings helped me to get out of those teachings too. So, it goes both ways, I think. But let me tell you something. I would join John MacArthur's church in a heartbeat. Like you know what I mean. Like if that was the only church around. Are you kidding me? Oh man, I would be hungry to join John MacArthur's church.
I don't think you could become a member.
Yeah, I would lie. I would be like, oh yeah, I'm a Baptist. Yeah. Oh yeah, full immersion all the way. Yeah, drown them people, man. Drown them.
Marcus,
Yeah. What? Yeah.
Marcus will show up. Marcus will show up.
Yeah. No. Seriously though, I mean, because I think John MacArthur. We can joke about eschatology and how dangerous dispensationalism is, because it is dangerous. But that dude's a brother. Like, I'm sure I got some theology that's crazy and whacked out too. It's not theonomy though.
All right, guys, that was a good talk. We're gonna take a quick break, and we'll be back to talk about some meaty issues with Marcus the Pitbull Pittman.
We gotta keep going. Perseverance essential. In the gospel we talking about deals with every issue. Yeah, we talk it and walk it, and we hearers and doers. Yeah, the masses in motion.
Welcome back to Dat Post Mill. We are here with Marcus Pittman and Ivy Connerly, who are in studio at Apologia Studios. And we're actually going to talk about vegetarianism, veganism, and Dat Post Mill. Marcus.
Hey, what's up?
What's up, dude?
You know what I had for lunch today?
I know what you have.
What I have for lunch, Avi?
Mushroom sandwich.
Amen. Praise the Lord.
No fluffies had to die in the making of that sandwich.
It does go together. It does go together.
Mushrooms on the pizza, man.
True Dat Post Mill is being vegetarian. So, all right. So here's the thing. First off, I have to clarify this because, people like to, it is not a sin. It is not a sin to eat meat. So I just want to be very, very clear about that. It is not a sin to eat meat. Christians can eat meat. But I do think that there is a good theological basis for being a vegetarian, in the sense of that, as being a consistent postmillennialist, God is placing death under his feet, And part of placing death under his feet is animal death. I believe that animal death will be reduced, and there will not be Chick-fil-A in heaven. There will not be In-N-Out in heaven, because that involves the death of animals.
Book, chapter, and verse.
Hold on now. That is not to say there will not be a very,
Blasphemy.
very comparable Chick-fil-A tree in the new garden. You know, somebody might be able to make a tree that produces like a tofu, sort of like Chick-fil-A, like this identical. But no. I say that because I think as consistent post-millennialists, Christ is placing death under his feet, and it's not a sin to eat meat, but we should be a lot more cautious in how we, kill animals. We are in the middle of a desert here in Arizona. It is an actual desert. There's scorpions walking around. There's cactuses. And yet, I can go to the sink right now, and I can have water just pouring out of the sink in the middle of a desert. It's pumped into this place. Same thing with Las Vegas. It's a desert, and there's running water and stuff. So animals made great food when you had to walk in the desert, right? When you had to walk in the desert, and they could walk with you. You weren't solitary for a long time. But when we have gardens in the middle of deserts now, and we've decided, hey, we're gonna stay here, I think we have the technology that we don't need meat anymore. Like we don't need it, and I don't think it's the healthiest option either. As Christians, we should be really conscious about our health, and I think this is something I've just come to the conclusion of. I have not been always conscious about my health, but I think what we put into our bodies and stuff. I think that matters as a Christian. And now I know one person said the Doug Wilson line, we don't want to turn our swords into plowshares too early, or else we'll be fighting with plowshares, right? And that's true, which is why I'm not saying like this is something we have to do right now. Like we have to stop eating meat. But I think we should start setting the pace. Like we should start creating, healthier options. We should be at the forefront of this, and we should be. And I think you see it too, like especially in a lot of homeschooling families, you see a lot of people who are really embracing nutrition. And I'm staying at a house right now, and all they have are like essential oils and probiotics and all this. I don't even know what this stuff is yet. Like I'm so new at this stuff, but like you can see, there's definitely like a health conscious thing that's happening specifically within Christian families, and I think as time goes on, it's just going to go more and more and more and more. And eventually, I do believe that meat will not be like the go-to food source anymore.
But back to Doug Wilson too. It wasn't long ago that he, I don't know if he tweeted or posted it or blogged about it or something about there was like a video going around about this like pink goo that they were creating that is kind of like to replace meat. So talking about like think about in the future in 1,000 years when there's so many more people. And you can get all the vitamins and minerals and nutrients that you need, but you're getting it from this pink goo. And everyone's like, oh, that's so disgusting. That's so horrible. How can you think that? But he's like, no, this is human progression.
Yeah, 500 years from now, that might not be an issue. But I think there's something maybe I would think there's probably something inherently unhealthy about meat. Whereas if there was something specifically healthy and good for you about meat, there would be meat trees in the Garden of Eden, but it wasn't. We were to eat off the fruit of the vine, and it was all fruit and plants, and I think there's a reason for. I do think there's a reason for that. However, like I said, it is not a sin to eat meat.
So when I did in my small group several years ago, we went through Randy Alcorn's book Heaven, just a few chapters, and I actually tweeted him once and asked if there will be Chipotle in heaven, and he said that if that's what my heart desires in heaven, then there will be Chipotle. So are you saying that Randy Alcorn is wrong? There won't be Chipotle?
I don't know everything there is to know about like what the end, like consummation will look like, but I'm pretty sure that we won't be in heaven. We'll be on the new earth.
Heaven and new earth.
Yeah, but I think the heaven is essentially where the heavenly realm dwells. But we were never created to live in heaven. We were always created for we were always created for the earth.
Right.
Like, we were created on the earth. We live on the earth. We'll die on the earth. We'll be resurrected on the earth. And so like I kind of think like heaven's kind of like maybe like a holding place until the final judgment.
The way that I think of it is that right now, heaven is separate, but at the consummation, heaven and earth unite.
Yeah. That's probably true too. It's like the it reminds me of the Kirk Cameron line where he says like our goal is to heavenize the earth.
Yes.
So like I think that's probably really true. I think we had that at the Garden of Eden, and then of course sin separated us from that. But to go back to Randy Alcorn's line about whatever your heart desires, like you'll have. I don't think that's really true. I think in heaven or in the new earth, like we're gonna have to work, and we're gonna labor for everything that we have, just like we have to do now. It'll just be less toil and less thorns. But yeah, I mean, look at what we've accomplished. We're in the middle of a desert with air conditioning. Right. Right. So there's a lot less toil. Trust me, if we were building a studio in the desert 300 years from now, 300 years ago, without air conditioning, like we wouldn't even be here. We'd be like, yeah, you was crazy. Yeah. So
the chicken that's in the Chipotle and the new heavens and new earth will be that pink goo that's not actually made out of meat.
No, or it could be like a Chick-fil-A tree that we've created that's actually a vegetable that just happens to taste like Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, Douglas Wilson made a good point when he was talking about like GMOs. He said that like people think of GMOs as like terrible and horrible because they're bad for you and stuff, and he said, yeah, but it's just like any other brand new technology. Give it a couple 100 years for us to work all the kinks out, and it could literally replace all of the killing animals that we do. Like he and the joke that he made, which I guess technically may be partially serious, was that if you could have a steak that was just as juicy and delicious and more nutritious than a real steak and have it be made out of petroleum, that would be better than having to kill a cow for it.
What is petroleum? Is that oil? Like what is that?
Yeah, it's oil basically, the product of oil,
But isn't oil made from like dead animals?
Yeah. Somebody made the joke that toy dinosaurs are made of plastic, which is a petroleum product, and oil is made from dead dinosaurs.
So toy dinosaurs are actually made from real dinosaurs.
Reincarnation.
Yes.
Reincarnation.
That's really, really creepy.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Wow. Man, I can't wait for the consummation to get rid of that.
Well, Marcus, just if I can ask a couple questions about this idea. A couple things. One, like we see, like.
By the way, did I mention that it's not a sin to eat meat?
Yes, you did. You mentioned that. Yes, you did.
Okay. No. All right.
And in John 21,
Jesus ate fish after he resurrected.
Broiled some fish too.
He did broil the fish. But anyway, continue.
Well, actually, Ivy brought it up, like the resurrected Lord in the time he spent before the ascension. Restores Peter and his disciples by cooking a breakfast of fish.
Preach, brother.
I don't think that this text doesn't
already not yet.
Already not yet. But he's resurrected, and he could just have easily he had loaves already before. He could have loaves. He could have all sorts of things. It's just
so your only conclusion here, if we were to follow your position logically, is that animal death doesn't count as actual death. And therefore, we could go to Tim Keller land and the view of creation. I mean, like that.
Death before the fall, not a problem anymore. Yeah, I have a really big problem with that actually.
Mm-hmm.
I think that
so,
it's.
You could say like, why did Jesus not just give Peter and all those people like glorified bodies right then? Right? It's like, well, like it wasn't time yet. It wasn't time then for animal death to be put to an end.
Yeah, think of this too. Like now we have the technology to figure out what our body needs and where we can get those needs from. Whereas back then they didn't really know. So maybe the reason that Jesus made them fish was because otherwise they wouldn't have gotten fill in the blank with whatever they needed.
And the more we learn about the body, the more we learn that like health is like the reason we have so much cancer, the reason we have so much disease is really, it's just dietary. Like, I really believe that. Like, it's just dietary. And you know, you don't see cancer as a problem in a lot of like countries where like they have vegetable based diets.
You don't see cancer as a problem in a lot of countries where they don't have processed foods. That's the biggest cause of cancer is processed foods.
So same thing. Like, so yeah, but I think, you know, the best way to avoid processed food is just to eat it straight from the tree, right? Like, that's
or raise and kill the cow yourself.
Yeah, but then you said the word kill, and now you're kind of not being post-mill anymore. So you can just, you know, kind of hang with that. But by the way, Ivy, did you know that it is not a sin to eat meat? It is not a sin to kill an animal.
I do, yes, I do see that in scripture.
Okay.
I just want to hear it one more time.
Okay, it is not a sin to eat meat.
And just to be clear too, I love meat. I think meat is delicious. But my girlfriend is vegan, and so I eat vegan food a lot because I'm not going to be like, hey, will you like make yourself a sandwich and then cook me some bacon? I'm like, no, I'm going to eat whatever food you guys are eating.
I'm going to tell you something. Since I've become vegetarian, I've learned one thing. Vegans, they know how to cook.
Yes.
Like, they really know how to cook. Like,
they have to.
Let me tell you about this vegan meal I had one day. It was, you know, you take some cauliflower, right? Ivy, you listening? Oh man, you take some cauliflower, man. You boil that. Hold on. Just listen. Okay, you take some cauliflower. You like cauliflower, right? Okay, you boil the cauliflower. Yeah, like that. You steam it, and then they put it in this coating with hot sauce, and like they're able to turn cauliflower into hot wings. It's amazing. Like, I was like, how did you just turn cauliflower into hot wings? They can do it. I'm telling you. And it's only going to get better. Eventually, they're going to turn cauliflower into Chick-fil-A. And people are going to be like, what? That is Chick-fil-A cauliflower.
You know what? I got a little point. Now, maybe it sounds stupid, but oh well. But here's the thing.
I guarantee you it's going to sound stupid, Ivy. Okay.
Here's the thing.
Marcus, bro.
Yeah.
All of the you know, the beans and the peanuts, all the nuts and stuff that you guys get. You know, so that way, you know, you can get your protein on.
That's right.
Stuff. Was it not alive at one point in the ground, in the earth?
Well, plants do not have the breath of life in them, so it's not considered. It's not considered actual death.
Still, that wasn't mine.
That was a really nice try, Ivy, but he's got a point. There's a huge difference between animal death and plant death, and this is intuitive to every human being.
You say this is gonna sound stupid. That's what you said, right? You said that, yeah. You knew that was stupid, Ivy. You knew that was dumb. That's okay. That's okay, brother. We still love you. We still love this brother. This poor little child right here beside me, man. He know he dumb. He know he dumb. He can't. Poor little child. I'm sorry, Ivy. I feel so bad for you.
See me in the screen. I'm sorry. You know, Marcus probably went to the restroom or
something. But I mean, it's intuitive to everybody. If you think about it, like if you were to just like, you know, go have a picnic with your family over top a dead cow, that would be like a really bad day. Everybody would be like, this is disgusting. Like, we need to get away from this corpse, right? Whereas when you go have a picnic next to a tree stump, which is a dead animal, it's a dead plant, right? Nobody thinks twice about that. In fact, like if it's just a couple, it might be kind of romantic. It's intuitive that plant death is considerably different from animal death.
Yeah, and we don't have to think about it because
I love that.
I know John is not eating the chicken wing. You ain't eating that chicken wing right in front of me.
Oh man, that look good too.
Man, it do look good though. It do look good. See, sometimes I still want to go back. Sometimes I still want to go back. Look at that.
See, that's what that post meal's all about. See, he's taking the mean over there.
You know, I might be wrong. Just looking at that chicken wing right now, I'm like, that cannot be a sin. That cannot be.
Look at the enjoyment on his face, man.
Yeah, he is really enjoying that chicken wing.
Enjoying it to the glory of God.
Yeah, look at.
I'm doing this in honor of one of my heroes we had on the podcast not too long ago. Dr. Joe McDermott. Eat that meat for the kingdom, baby.
That brother's a meat eater.
Eat that meat for the kingdom, baby.
Look, now I'm just going to say this right now. It is not a sin to eat meat, but when Joe McDermott eat meat, the way that man eat meat, the way that man cook meat, the way that man like be baking meat in the fire and pit, that might be sin, brother. That might be sin, because that brother, man, shoot. That because it's a sin. I'll tell you it's a sin right now, because he was not afraid to tempt a weaker brother. Just smelling that, so I was like, "Oh, brother, I'm about to lose my vegetarianism right now. Right now, like, what is that you are cooking? Can you put that on some cauliflower, please? Because that is awesome." So I never did have any of that, but I really wish I did. He made some real good macaroni and cheese, though. Not really vegan, but it was still good, though. How's that chicken wing, John?
Oh, rotisserie. It's amazing, bro. It's amazing. Lemon pepper.
I had vegan food for dinner, and it was also delicious. So
Colin, since your girlfriend is vegan, for you, it's don't kill the dragon, get the girl.
Wow, that was good. That was good, man. That joke was a long time coming.
It was.
Like, that was a long time coming. Like how long ago? That was like an hour ago, right? Like an hour
excited
ago.
I could use it.
He just brought that back.
Yes.
That's some good stuff, man. That's some good stuff.
See, this is why Dustin's on the show, man. He's super witty, and he just like he'll wait for it for like an hour, and then
He's
just
patient.
be like, whoosh.
He's patient.
That's all it takes, man. That's all it takes.
Like
that one
Smaug.
joke.
Like Smaug, he was waiting.
Look at my God, I'm amazed. What a beautiful canvas, what a beautiful grave. Catch us knocking on tombstones, you can be saved. It's the spirit that gives life, that man can be raised.
Marcus, we would love to plug our listeners with how they can get more of your work, maybe from with more of what you'll be doing with Apologia, and then just other stuff that you do.
Yeah, the first thing is I would like everybody to subscribe to Apologia Radio's podcast. Because I really don't think, and I'm not just saying this because I work here, I really don't think there's a podcast like Apologia Radio. Right? Like, there's just not. Like, it is like Z Morning Zoo and Christianity is crazy. Jeff really is, it really is a radio show that can make it on major radio markets. And that's going to be the plan. It will be. We actually are looking into, some radio stations have contacted us to air the show. So you can be praying for that for sure, because we definitely want to expand our reach, even to the outdated, radio stations. But subscribe on iTunes at Apologia Radio. Subscribe on whatever Android device you use for podcasts, and that's the main thing. The other thing is, if I can just say this, we're building the studio, and so Jeff Durbin actually posted. It's actually on the Apologia Facebook page too. There's a link to our wish list for some video equipment that we would really like to have. And some of it we need. Some of the stuff is stuff that would just really add production value. But if you could go to that wish list and maybe get some of that stuff, would be awesome. Like, that would be great. Like, that would be a huge help to us.
We'll put a link to that in the description.
So just like, if you could just support us in that way, just, helping us get gear. And that gear comes with a 30-day money back. Your stuff is garbage, and I don't like the stuff Apologia is producing guarantee. No, I'm just kidding. But no, if you give us that gear, like, it really will help us. I mean, the stuff that we're doing is going to really be amazing. Like, you can't see it, but just behind me is a warehouse that's 64 feet by 24 feet, and we're building this amazing desk and this set for a television show for Apologia Radio, and we hope to broadcast that on some Christian networks, and it's really going to be amazing to have that up. And then our YouTube channel, you can subscribe to us on Apologia Studios. If you YouTube that, Apologia Radio, you'll be able to subscribe. We have like 12,000 subscribers already, and we haven't even done anything yet. So that's going to explode once we start really putting up some of the sketches and stuff. And just be praying for us, like, that we can be creative with the resources, the limited resources that we have. We know we don't need like millions of dollars worth of video equipment to do the stuff that we do, but what we do need, we need, and it's going to be awesome. Like, I think we're going to change the world. So that's the goal.
Cool. So are you focusing 100% on this, or are you still doing Crown Rights stuff, gospel spam?
Well, it's kind of like a collaboration, because essentially it's a collaboration, but this is my full-time thing right now. So this is my total focus. But Crown Rights is not dead. Like, I still have some documentaries I'm working on. I'm working on the James White, Gary Strawbridge. They did a debate, and we interviewed Crawford and Strawbridge, and they gave commentary. So I'm going to be making a documentary about the Strawbridge James White debate. And so there's other things I'm working on separate from Apologia. And I'll always do that because I'm a filmmaker. So I'll always have films that I'm probably working on slowly in between times. But this right now is my primary focus for sure in that film. But I mean, Apologia, this is where my heart is. I don't think, people ask me about Crown Rights. I don't think Crown Rights ever ended when I came here, because this is what we always wanted to do with Crown Rights. From the moment it was started, it's like, we want to build a studio and we just want to produce content. And Jeff was the first one that was like, well, let's do it, and the other venues we tried to do that, it just didn't work. It didn't fit their ministry. And then Jeff was the first one that was like, let's do it. And we did it, and God provided the resources. So, God provided $30,000 so we could build this place out. And so, that's not a lot, but it's enough to, take that step of faith and just start. So that's what we're doing.
That's awesome. And
Great.
What about gospel spam? Are you guys still doing anything with that?
John Speed and Shane Dodson, they run gospel spam now. I don't have time to write. I just don't. But so I've essentially handed that over to them, and they're putting up blogs every now and then. There was an Avengers Age of Ultron review that was posted, and but that I don't have plans for gospel spam to go away. I hope to have like maybe a gospel spam podcast here in the studio sometime, and cause like that's something people should know. Like, this studio here at Apologia Radio, the hope is that it's more than just Apologia Radio, but we can create all kinds of content and shows and podcasts that are bigger. Maybe some might get bigger than Apologia Radio is. Maybe Apologia Radio will be the centerpiece for the whole time, or maybe Apologia Radio will disappear and go by the wayside, and other content will be greater and bigger. We don't know. We don't know. We just have this place, and we're just going to make stuff. And
So what you're saying is that we all have to move to Arizona, is what you're saying.
The entire post-mill community should live either in Moscow, Idaho, or they should live in Phoenix. I think, like, if those two places... Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. Like, let's start...
That is so tempting. You have no idea.
Do it. What's holding you back, man? There's a guy at our church. I asked him, I was like, oh, how'd you hear about Apologia Radio? He's like, oh, man, like, I was like, how'd you join this church? And he's like, oh, well, me and my wife, we were living in New Jersey, and we came across Jeff on YouTube, and, like, we flew out here, and we liked the church, so we just moved here. I'm like, you just
That's
moved
dope.
from New Jersey to come
Yeah,
here
it's a
because...
sign.
You thought it was a good church? And I think, like, most of the time, like, we move for jobs. We don't move for church. But I think we should probably move for church and see where God leads us in job.
The funny thing is, on Doug Wilson's church's website, there's actually a page dedicated to just speak to those people who want to move here, understand this. And it's like, might not be guaranteed a job. It's a small thought. Like, there's so many people that just, like, pack up and move out there that they have to address it on their church website.
It's a huge document. It's a huge document on the website.
I love that place. I love that place. That place. I mean, I would move there, but I don't think for long.
You actually spent time with Doug Wilson.
Yeah.
Does Doug Wilson know how to Dougie?
No, but he knows how to bob his head.
Oh, he can bob his head. He's a head bobber. There's a video of him singing too.
He's in a band, yeah. Band.
He's in a band.
It's hard to not like Doug Wilson. It really is. It's hard to not like Doug Wilson.
Believe it or not, there are people that do not like Doug Wilson. But anyway.
Idaho's got snow. It's got Doug Wilson. It's got guns. It's got snowmobiles. What else do you need? I mean, this is perfect.
What else do we need? Marcus Pittman.
I'm in Arizona.
Yeah, we're gonna have to fix that. No, I'm just kidding. We'll just have to bring We'll just have to bring Moscow to you. That's what we'll do.
How about I go to Moscow during the summer?
Oh.
So just like support us, get stuff from our wish list, and just be praying for the work that we do, and that's about it.
Sweet. Thank you, Marcus.
Yeah, thanks for coming, brothers, both of you. Thank you.
Thank you guys for having me, even though I wasn't invited.
Ivy, we're gonna have to have you on again so that you can prepare something instead of try to freestyle.
Ivy, to be honest, there has been talks with Christ-centric and with Reform Ordinance about having like a hip hop crew on to talk about the state of hip hop in that post mill. So I definitely want to include you in that.
Oh man, most definitely. Let me know. I'm down.
All right, guys, thanks for listening this week. We had a great conversation with Marcus and Ivy. It's awesome that he was able to jump on in the beginning. Definitely check us out online, datpostmill.com, 1L. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We're on all you Google employees. We're on Google+. We are taking over the internet. So just Google get Dat Post Mill and you'll find us. We're everywhere.
I like that. Hey, Knox, I ain't know what you was doing, man, when you was doing all this, but another one. Let's go. Walk, talk, eat, drink, sleep, dream. Gospel. Wake, pray, read, dress, work, think. Gospel. Rest, fellowship, yes, church, hear, see. Gospel. Everything. Gospel. Everywhere.